First, I want to give a call hello to Yahweh. Ba'ashima Mashiach Wamadak Yahushua. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father, who the world calls God. And Yahushua is the name of his only begotten Son, who the world only calls Jesus Christ. I want to give a strong shalom to all the mighty men that's going out there on the highways and byways and laboring, presenting their bodies as a living sacrifice, enduring the elements, the 100-degree weathers, the freezing below colds, and everything that's trying to take away the words of the Lord. I want to give another strong shalom to all the mighty women, the Aqua, the sisters that are married and unmarried, right? Doing their due diligence, reverencing their husbands, being teachers of good things, tender, delicate, and on fire for the Lord. Last but not least, I want to give another strong shalom to all the mighty teenagers and children in this thing as well, doing all they can to make their calling in the Lord, to make their calling and election sure in the last days, right? In these last days, man. And the topic of this video is demons are trying to take your soul, right? The topic of this video is these demons are trying to take your soul, and what will you do about it, right? These demons are trying to take your soul. Now, the Most High has created Pacific angels on the left-hand side to take men out of the land of the living. You have certain spirits on this earth. Their specific job is to separate you away from your Maker, to separate you away from the Most High due to sin. Because the more we sin, that's the more we separate it against the Lord. You have Pacific angels every day that's trying to take you away from the Most High. That's trying to take you away from the grace and mercy of Yahushua. That's trying to take you away from serving the Lord. Literally. These spirits, they don't have a respect of persons. They don't care if you're old. You could be 50 years in the truth. These demons, they don't care. You think these evil spirits care if you're 50 years old in the truth? No, they're still going to attack you. They're still going to try to separate you from the Lord. You think these spirits care if you're 17 years old in the truth? Absolutely not. They're still going to try to take you away from the word. You think these spirits care if you're 26, 27, 28 years old? You think these spirits care what congregation you in? No. Their job and Satan's job and his minions is trying to take you and separate you from the love of Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Yahushua. Let's kick it off with the book of 1 Peter, the 5th chapter. Right? And this has to be harped on in the last days, because men, they forget the bigger picture. Women, they forget the vision. They forget these things. And we have to stir men up in remembrance. Right? This is the book of 1 Peter, the 5th chapter, and verse number 8. 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse number 8, the classic. It says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. And, you know, brothers pull that precept talking about Esau, the so-called white man, the other nations. But what it's really talking about is you have to be sober, meaning you have to have a sound mind. And be a vigilant, meaning always on watch. Why? Because you have the spiritual demon Satan and the angels on the left-hand side as a roaring lion. If anybody has watched a lion when it's hungry, it is going to take down the prey. It's not going to care who's around. I don't care if it's 6 hyenas around. If they're hungry, they're going to eat. So Satan, he's as a roaring lion, walking around, walketh about, it says. And you can read about that in Job, the 2nd chapter. The Lord asks Satan, where comest thou, or whence from where thou comest? And he said, from walking to and fro in the earth. Why is Satan doing that? To seek who he may devour. Who he could bring back into sin. Who he could bring back into bondage. What women he could trap up and make them sin against the Lord. What men he could trap up and pollute their mind. What men he could stop from being on fire. That is his job. He has many other reasons why he's created, but one of the main reasons why the spiritual demon Satan and his adversary and his allies, which are the angels on the left hand side, is to chiefly stop you from serving the Lord. It says, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. And that's got your mindset. When you know somebody is finna, when somebody wants to kill you, I mean, you're gonna avoid that. I've never seen a man say, well, no, so-and-so just sent me a death threat, let me be cool with him. No, you're gonna avoid that man. You're gonna watch him. And with that being said, these spirits are trying to devour you. How vigilant should you be, man? How on fire should you really be? That's the question. How much should you be serving the Lord? How focused should you be in the last days? Because as you can see, all hell is breaking loose on the earth. I mean, you have earthquakes every day. You have mass shootings. The gas prices are through the roof. There's no food on the shelves. People are quitting their jobs. Hey, somebody just quit their job. Somebody on my job just quit yesterday, man. This economy is crashing. Demons are increasing. So how vigilant should you be? Hey, if somebody's trying to take me out, I'm not going to be friends with them. A lot of women, they be friends with these evil spirits. A lot of men try to entertain these spirits on the left-hand side, not even knowing their job is to take you out. And that just shows you how serious this truth is. Yes, this truth is about brotherly love, charity, alms, serving the Most High, reading, praying, fasting. And we talk about reading and praying and fasting so much. But another thing you have to do is watch. Because your adversary, the devil, is walking around seeking whom he may devour. And that's why the topic of this video is these demons are trying to take your soul. Let's go to the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 2. Right? They desire you, man. Right? 2 Timothy, chapter 2 and verse number 26. 2 Timothy 2 and 26. It says, and that they may recover themselves out of the snare of the devil. So certain men, they trying to recover themselves. Right now, as we speak, it's a brother or a sister falling somewhere we don't know, but they trying to recover. They're drowning, but they trying to swim to the top to get safety. I mean, recovery is recovery, that's a big thing. Hey, at one point in time, I had to recover. The men of the Lord, they had to recover. Reading on, it says, and that they may recover themselves out of the snare of the devil, who are taken captive by him at his will. How are you taken captive by Satan? By giving into your fleshly desires. By not praying enough. By not exhorting your brother. Not doing enough. You know, you got certain brothers, they know they could go harder, but yet they refuse to do it. You got certain women, they know they could do more, but they refuse, in their pride, they refuse to do it, man. You are being captive by Satan and getting your soul took and your spirit just by entertaining his angels on the left-hand side. Just by entertaining his snares, his tricks. And we here to tell you, Satan has tricks up his sleeve. Yes, we said it. He has snares that he puts men in. Trances that he put women in. Satan is a illusionist. He makes things seem real, but they're really not. And certain men, they're being taken captive by Satan at his will. Right, let's go to the book of Revelation. Right, this thing get deep, man. Revelation chapter 18. And you got certain brothers, they got demons chasing after them every day. Soon as they wake up, they on his head. Whether that's happening on your parents, your loved ones, a spirit happening on your woman, a spirit happening on your husband, all hell breaking loose at work. These spirits, they're on that with you. We're going to say it. Right? This Revelation chapter 18 and verse number 11. It says, and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. The merchandise of gold, right? Talking about America. Because when it's all said and done, nobody's going to be buying the merchandise of Babylon the Great. It says the merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all thy wood and all manner of vessels of ivory and all manner of vessels of precious wood and brass and iron and marble and cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat. And this listing all the things that America has been trading. We get to the point, it says, and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves. This is the point. And souls of men. See that? And souls of men. You know how many people have sold their soul to the spiritual demon Satan? And have given everything they have in this world for America? And selling your soul is not always signing a contract in blood and offering, sacrificing yourself, sacrificing somebody in your family up to the elites. And then you gain all the glory and riches. And you sell your soul every time you give into your lust. Every time you doing mischief, you smoking weed. Every time you watching too much TV. Every time you're not praying before you wake up, when you wake up. Every time you're doing everything else besides the will of the Lord. You're selling your soul. You're asking for your soul to be snatched. That's why it says the souls of men. And many men have sold out to America. Many men have sold their integrity, their diligence. They have sold out their morals just to make it in this world. And who's all behind that? Now, somebody might say, well, hey, I knew Esau was behind that. Men selling out. But who's working on Esau to do this? Hashatan in the Hebrew, which is Satan. These evil angels. And what brothers and sisters got to recognize who your real enemy is. Now, you might say, well, hold on. I thought the Edomites were our enemies. And the Moabites. And the Canaanites. And the Jebusites. And the Perizzites. And the Hittites. And the Cushites. I thought these different nations was my enemy. Well, yes, they are. But you're going to come to find out that you chiefly have one main enemy. And that's the spiritual demon Satan and his angels. And that's who you really got to watch out for. Because for them to be your enemies, it got to be a spirit that's hopping on these different nations. And that's why, again, this topic of this video is called, These Demons Are Trying to Take Your Soul. Every moment. It's non-stop, man. It gets to the point where it gets sad. You might be falling behind. A demon might got your shirt, pulling you back. And then you kind of just say, you got to get off. You got to shake them off. A lot of men start grabbing a shirt. Then they just start getting. And we seen a brother like that at camp. Right? His Edomite woman came up and just snatched him away. Literally. Grabbed him by his shirt and just snatched him. Now, he was trying to fight back at first. Then he just gave into it. And she snatched him up. That's how Satan is doing a lot of women. You're getting snatched up. Your mind is getting snatched. Right? Your integrity, your morals is getting snatched up. Right? Right? The brother said that's sloth. He said that sloth demon the worst. Yeah. That's a demon. That's a demon that's trying to take you out in this thing as well. I mean, you wake up in the morning, you trying to pray, but you damn, it's like you finna fall back in a bed. You wake up in the morning, you try to get some early reading, but you're not comprehending nothing that you're not understanding nothing that you read. You just yawning out of nowhere. Literally, you just yawning. You probably got 10, let's say you got 10 hours of sleep. All right, let's say you got 10 hours of sleep. You know, you got some good rest in. Soon as you wake up and getting some reading in, you automatically yawning for no reason. I remember this one time I was at my grandma's house and I was on the computer doing some studying and going through the precepts. When I tell you out of nowhere, I felt the spirit just hop on me and my flesh just got tired. It was to the point where I was literally, I had to get up and do some push-ups, man. Satan was just saying, just go to sleep. You had a long day at work. I know you're tired. You already got a little bit of study in there. Just take it easy. And I had to throw some punches in the air. Cause it just hopped on my flesh. That's how I knew I was a target. And we here to tell you today, any brother or sister, I don't care who you are, where you from. If you in this truth, you're a target. If you believe in Hamashiach Umarak Yahushua, Satan wants you. Now, if brothers and sisters have watched that movie, you know, they be in old movies, but you might see a serial killer or a big time drug dealer on a post, and it might say most wanted. If you find this man, the reward is $10,000. Then they got the man's face on a down pole. We here to tell you today, if you in this truth and you believe in Hamashiach Umarak Yahushua, that you're an Israelite, you got to repent, keep the commandments of God, and you're striving for the kingdom, we here to tell you that you're on Satan's most wanted hit list. Right? You're on Satan's most wanted hit list. Certain men are desired by these demons. Right? Let's get that in Luke, the 22nd chapter. Right? Certain men are desired by the spiritual demon Satan. Let's go to the book of Luke, chapter 22. I mean, certain people Satan would just love to have. He just wants so bad. All right, let's go to the book of Luke, chapter 22. It's the book of Luke, chapter 22, and verse number 31. It reads, "And the Lord said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan hath desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat." See that? So Yahushua, he told Peter the apostle, Simon, Simon, Satan hath desired to have you. I mean, when you desire something, you want it bad. You really, really want it bad. Jake always desiring that female that he used to want to always be with from high school. Man, you know, I wish I had her, man. Man, I could treat her right, man. I could have brought her into the truth. Man, I could have changed her life. You really wanted her. Guess what? Satan really wants you. If you keeping the commandments, Satan wants you. If you're on fire, being diligent, Satan wants you. If you're a woman and you're reverencing your husband, you're doing all of the ordinances, and you walking in the righteous footsteps of our foremothers, Satan wants you. But Satan, he doesn't want, I mean, why would Satan want a slothful man? Satan doesn't want a man that's playing with his old sins, that's playing around with the old man. I mean, that's not reading, that's not focused. I mean, Satan doesn't want that. That's still hanging around with men in the world and women in the world, that's going to parties and clubs. I mean, he doesn't want them. I mean, they're not a target. Why? Because he already has them. Those men are not a target. These men in Islam, Jake that's in Islam, they're not targets. These men in Christianity, they're not targets. Your old Christian pastor that you used to go to on Sunday school, he's not a target. Why? Because Satan has already got those men captive. But you're a target. Why? Because you living in this. Now you really in this thing. Now you really in this walk. These when the games begin. Right? Reading that again. Luke 22:31. And the Lord said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan hath desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. So Peter the apostle, he was on Satan's most wanted hit list. Right? Reading on, verse 32. But I have prayed for thee, that thy faith fail not. And when thou art converted, strengthen thy brother. See that? So the Lord prayed for Peter. Now let's go to the book of Acts, the 19th chapter. And for Satan to wanted to have and desire Peter, I mean, he will only have to know him. How can you desire somebody you don't know? Satan will have to know the ins and outs of Simon Peter. What time he wakes up in the morning. What time he go to sleep. How much does he lay? What's his work schedule? How much time did he spend around Yahushua? Satan, he knows everything about you, man. Literally. Certain spirits, the spiritual demon Satan absolutely knows. Because you got to think about it. Most of the time that Peter was, living, he was around Yahushua. So with him being around Yahushua most of the time, Satan said, okay, no. I can't do that right now. Let me wait till things cool down. Then Satan might wait till when, because there's plenty of times when you read the Gospels when Satan hopped on Peter and Yahushua was there to rebuke him. Now, what if the Lord wasn't there to rebuke Peter? All hell could have broke loose. And that's the thing with men. Satan, he's waiting for the moment when you're not in the spirit. Satan is waiting for the moment where your mind is not focused on the Lord. Why? Because he's going to take advantage. Just like any enemy would. I mean, I don't know an enemy who wouldn't take advantage on their adversary. And that's why we got to charge, brothers and sisters, it's very important to abound in the work of the Lord continually. Not just 1 week, not just 2 days, but continually staying focused on the Lord. Let's go to the book of Acts, chapter 19. Let's get this quick precept. So these spirits, they might know you. Now your name might be Zechariah ben Yahawada. Right? I just said a name. But guess what? Zechariah ben Yahawada, Satan might want you. Satan already knows you. You might have a sister in the truth. Her name might be Sarah. And we're here to tell you today, Sarah, it's a possible chance that Satan knows who you are. He knows everything about you. He knows your work schedule, what time you brush your teeth, what time you wake up, like I said, what time you go up, what time you eat lunch, what time you're around a sister's congregation, what time you usually read. And the moment you're not consistently and fervent, he's going to take advantage of that. But this is the book of Acts, chapter 19 and verse number 13. It says, Then certain of the vagabond Jews, exorcists, took upon them to call over them which had evil spirits the name of the Lord Yahushua, saying, We adjure you by Yahushua whom Paul preacheth. And there were, cause right, so you had these certain men that was trying to cast out spirits, but that wasn't their lot. It says, And there were 7 sons of one Sceva, a Jew, and chief of the priests, which did so. And the evil spirit answered and said, Yahushua I know, and Paul I know, but who are ye? See that? It says, Yahushua I know, and Paul I know. So you had certain spirits, they knew who Paul was. They knew who Yahushua was. They knew who Peter was. And on a deeper level, they know who the elect are. Why? Because these spirits were all together before the foundations of the earth was laid. You can read about that in 2nd Esdras, the 6th chapter. 1 all the way on down. These spirits were all with each other from the beginning. But the point is, it says, but who are ye? So just like these spirits would know who the elect are, this spirit, some of these spirits, they don't know who these men are. They just know, they just regular. Why? Because Satan already has them. They're not a target. And the more you on fire and being diligent, man, and really walking this walk in this truth, the more you will become a target. Let's go to the book of Mark. 1st chapter. I want to get this precept and Mark the 1st chapter. Mark chapter 1 and verse. Mark chapter 1 and verse number 23. It says, and there was in their synagogue a man with an unclean spirit, and he cried out, saying, let us alone. What have we to do with thee, thou Yahushua of Nazareth? So these demons said the name of the Lord. They said, what do we have to do with thee, thou Yahushua of Nazareth? They knew who the Lord was. Why? Because, you know, obviously the Lord created these spirits. Nevertheless, they knew who the Lord was. And certain spirits on the left-hand side might know who you are. It says, art thou come to destroy us? I know thee who thou art, the Holy One of God. And Yahushua rebuked him, saying, hold thy peace and come out of her. See that? So these spirits, they know who you are, and most importantly, they're trying to take the spirit of the Lord away from you. All right, let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 21. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiasticus and the Apocrypha, chapter 21 and verse number 1. But it's the book of Sirach, chapter 21 and verse number 1. It reads, my son, hast thou sinned? Do so no more, but ask pardon for thy former sins. Flee from sin as from the face of a serpent. And what's gonna have you be taken captive by the will of Satan is all through sin. Now, it might not be a sin as big as committing adultery. It might not be a sin as big as breaking the Sabbath day. Or it might not be a biggest sin of being a whoremonger, a lie, a theft, etc. It could be just a small, tiny sin. A sin that men don't talk about. And that's not being focused on the Lord. Because you commanded to meditate in the precepts day and night. That's Joshua chapter 1 and 8. We're going to get that as well later. Nevertheless, the things that man don't really focus on, those be the things that allow Satan to creep in. Why? Because a man, he doesn't care about that. A man might say, well, hey, I'm keeping the Passover. I'm not committing adultery. I'm not stealing. I'm not killing. I'm not doing this and that. But brother, you're lacking one thing. You spend too much time doing something else. You spend extra hours at work on purpose. You always relaxing. TV. You're always on Twitter. You can't put down your phone. You just addicted. Always on Instagram, Facebook. You always got spirits on you. So you might be keeping the commandments, but everybody has something that they lack. And that tiny thing that you lacking, that might be prayer. And that might be consistency. That might be patience. Satan could creep in, and next thing you know, he could slay you. Reading on, it says, Flee from the sin as from the face of a serpent. For if thou comest too near it, it will bite thee. So you really supposed to you really supposed to flee from sin. Anything that's trying to disrupt you, you might get a wicked thought. You might see a Eve. You got certain brothers, they see Eve walk by and they mind just all getting polluted. She don't have no clothes on, and your mind is just taking you somewhere else. The Lord said you gotta rebuke, you gotta flee from that. You gotta rebuke that immediately. Why? Because if you come too near it, meaning if you entertain it, if you even entertain some of the smallest wickedness, guess what? It will bite thee. The teeth thereof are as the teeth of a lion. That's the point. Slaying the souls of men. Right? I'm going to read that again. Slaying the souls of men. So you have sin actually slaying the souls of men. And women. All iniquity is as a two-edged sword. The wounds whereof cannot be healed. That's why, right? Because let's say you go off, you might feel ashamed. Yes, something not right with your spirit. Why? Because you just got wounded by sin. And that stuff takes time to heal. Nevertheless, sin is out here slaying the souls of men. Let's go to the book of Luke. Right? I want to go to the book of Luke, man. It's a lot of precepts. I'm thinking, but let's go to the book of Luke, man. Chapter 8. Right? Let's go to the book of Luke. Chapter 8. And verse number 2. It says, Luke 8:2, and certain women which had been healed of evil spirits and infirmities, Mary called Magdalene, of whom went 7 devils. So it's not just the souls of men being slain. It's not just these demons are only targeting men. No, these demons, they target women as well. You have Mary Magdalene, before she got healed of her infirmities, she had 7 demons on her. 7. Now, some brothers, they break that down. 7 is completion. We don't really know how many. But, hey, she had 7 spirits on her. Evil spirits on her. And she was a woman. And when you read the Gospels, Mary Magdalene, she was on fire, man. But yet, before she got cleansed, she even had spirits and demons on her. So women, they could be a target as well. You don't think Satan knew the potential that Mary Magdalene had? How she really, truly felt and loved the Lord? So guess what? He targeted her. And you being a target, that means you got to fight back. I mean, you got to do something. Because if you don't resist Satan, eventually you're going to get taken prisoner and you're going to be a servant unto sin. Next thing you know, you didn't stop reading. You don't even show up to camp anymore. You don't hit up sisters anymore. Brothers calling your phone, you don't really answer anymore. You just a lot of brothers, they just give up. Why? Because them demons, all it takes is one time to give into those spirits. Next thing you know, that one time you can't come back from that. Because then 2, 3 more than hopped on you. Then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 then hopped on you. Now you got 20 spirits on you. All because you entertain one spirit. That's deep, man. And some of these spirits, like I said, these spirits know you. Some of these spirits actually love you. Let's get that in the book of Tobit. Some of these spirits, they love you. Let's go to the book of Tobit. Right? Let me find this precept. Right? It's the book of Tobit. Alright. Salaki, bear with me. I'm trying to find this precept in Tobit. I believe that's Tobit, the 3rd chapter. Let's see. Right. It says that wicked spirit loveth her. It's like it. Bear with me. I'm gonna find this. Con. Right. This is the book of Tobit. All praises to the Most High. This Tobit chapter 6 and verse number 14. Tobit chapter 6 and 14. So like I said, these spirits, some of these spirits, they love you. They're inclined into you from the beginning. Right, this Tobit chapter 6 and 14. And now I am the only son of my father, and I am afraid, lest if I go into her, I die. Right, this is Tobias. Because you had Sarah, not that Sarah was wicked. You know, Sarah, she was a well-favored woman. It's just she had a spirit on her that every man she would be married or one was finna get married unto, that evil spirit killed all of those 7 men in the marriage chamber. You read the book of Tobit. It says, and now I am the only son of my father, and I am afraid that if I go into her, I die. And as the other before. So Tobiah is like, hold on. I don't know if I should, try to sleep with this woman, because all the other men that tried to lay down with her, they died. He's saying, hey, I don't want to be like these men. It says, for a wicked spirit loveth her, which hurteth nobody but those which come into her. See that? It says, for a wicked spirit loveth her. So you had Asmodeus, which is a demon on the left-hand side. It was on Sarah, and not only that, but it loved Sarah. And like I said, not that Sarah was wicked, because, Sarah, she was a well-favored woman. Just trying to be married. She had a right mindset, etc. But guess what? A wicked spirit loveth her. And that might be man. That lust spirit and evil concupiscence and that damn freak off spirit. Guess what, brother? We here to tell you it loves you. It loves dwelling inside you. That weed smoking spirit, it loves you. That slothful spirit, it loves you. The spirit of pride loves you. You women, that non-submission spirit, it loves you. That independent spirit, it loves you. That you got a lot of things, man. That slothful spirit, it might love that sister. You had this chief spirit, Asmodeus, it loves Sarah. So with that being said, that's why you can't let these demons hop on you, man. Because when they hop on you, they're going to start to get inclined into you. Then they're going to start to love having you go off and commit iniquity. Let's go to the book of Luke, chapter 13. Let's go to the book of Luke, chapter 13. Luke 13 and 16. It reads, and ought not this woman, being a daughter of Abraham, whom Satan hath bound, lo these 18 years, be loosed from this bond on the Sabbath day? And Satan has bound certain men and women for years, not for months, right? Not for days, for years. Every time you go back to that old man, you're still being bound. A certain men, when they come into the truth, you got certain men, they come in at 50 years old. Guess what? That brother was bound by Satan for 50 years. Imagine you a prisoner for 50 years, man. Certain brothers, they come in, at 26. You was bound, before you heard the knowledge of the truth, you was bound by Satan 26 years of your life. Certain women, you know, they come in at 17, 32, 38. Guess what? You have been bound for years. You have been had your spirit possessed by them for years. And the latter end of this video is, and what are you going to do about it? Now knowing that you're a target and you're on Satan's most wanted list, demons are after you. They're pulling you by the shirt. They want you to go back into the world. What are you going to do? Let me bring this precept out in the book of Job. And this is, man, let's get deep. Let's go to the book of Job. Because every moment, it takes one moment. It takes 1 minute to fall back into sin. It's the book of Job, chapter 7, and verse number 18. I'm going to start at verse 17. What is man, that thou shouldest magnify him, and that thou shouldest set thy heart upon him? Right? And that thou shouldest visit him every morning, and try him every moment. So you have certain men, and they being tried every moment. Every moment. When you think something just going good, then the Lord trying you. He's sending the spiritual way. You try to relax, a spiritual way. You go to sleep, a spiritual way. You wake up, a spiritual way. Every moment you're being tested and you're being tried to see whether you would keep God's commandment or not. If you would serve the Lord or you're going to serve Satan. Every moment. And that's why, brothers and sisters, you have to stay tunnel vision, man. You have to not play around. I don't play around with wickedness. If a brother's joking, and you know, brothers that know me, you know, they'll tell you this. If a brother's joking about pork and saying, "Oh, that's pork on your plate," now he might be joking, but I don't play around with that. Why? Because it's sin. Now you might say, "Well, hold on, you know, he was just being, you over righteous, you know, he was just joking." So anything that's sin and that's wicked, I don't play around with. Whether it's a least sin or a greater sin. Why? Because all the wages of sin is death. That's Romans chapter 6 and 23. Like I said, brothers that know me, they could testify to that. You know, I don't play around with that stuff, man. Oh, that's a pork hot dog. That's a bacon on that burger. No, brother, it's not. It is what it is. Right? But bringing this out, brothers got to stay on the goal, man. Let's go to the book of Philippians chapter 4. Right, let's go to Philippians, the 4th chapter. Right, I want to bring this out in the book of Philippians chapter 4. It's the book of Philippians chapter 4. And I want verse number 8. It reads, "Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things." Think on these things. So knowing that you're a target in this truth, and at any given second, it could be a time for the Lord to command His spirit from you and give you over to a seducing spirit or a reprobate mind or kill you. You have to think on these lovely things. You have to think on the commandments. You have to think on self-examination. You have to think on, you know, ways you could do better in this truth. Ways you could go harder in this truth. Whether you're a man, a woman, or a child. You have to think on, man, you gotta be ravished with you gotta be in love. Yes, I'm gonna say it. This truth requires you to fall in love. When you're in love with something, when Jake in love with a woman, I mean, he's getting butterflies. He's texting her nonstop. He's pulling up to her house. He's buying her roses. I mean, he's doing anything he can because he's in love. You have to fall in love with the Most High, man. You have to fall in love with the truth. You gotta stop. Can't stop not doing this. Think upon these things. Because as you thinking upon these things and you staying focused, not just one time, not just staying focused twice, but staying focused continually, you're going to be most wanted by Satan even more. But it's going to be easier to resist the wiles of the devil. It's going to be more easier to stay in the spirit. It's going to be more easier not to give in to temptation. Not to give in whatever lust that you deal with. Whether that's spending too much time on your car, watching too many unprofitable videos, etc. You have to stay focused. You have to be vigilant. You have to stay girded. Right? Let's go to the book of Colossians chapter 3. It's the book of Colossians chapter 3. Especially what's going on right now, man. I mean, everything's just waxing worse. America's waxing old. People waxing old. I mean, everything's just getting old. This Colossians 3 and 2. It says, set your affection on things above, not on things on the earth. So you want to chiefly meditate on things above. Meditate on the kingdom. How to please the Lord. How to walk with God like Enoch did. And when you read Genesis, the 5th chapter, it said Enoch walked with God and was not. And he pleased the Lord and he was taken. The Lord took him up. You have to meditate on heavenly things. It says, set your affection on things above, not on things on the earth. Because the things on the earth is what it's going to get man caught up and destroyed in the mind and have his mind all jammed up and polluted. It says, for ye are dead and your life is hid with Christ in God. When Christ, who is our life, when somebody's your life, you constantly thinking about them. I mean, they just on your mind. Literally. When Jake say ball is life, he got pictures of Kevin Durant on his wall. He got pictures of them Scottie Pippen, Steph Curry. He always watching basketball highlights. And he say ball is life. This truth has to be your life. Yahushua has to be your life. Anything and everything has to be about the Lord. If it's not, then you chiefly can't hear it. But let's go to the book of Proverbs. Let's go to the book of Proverbs, the 4th chapter. This Proverbs chapter 4 and 25. It says, let thy eyes look right on, and let thy eyelids look straight before thee. You have to let your eyes look straight forward. You have to have tunnel vision. You have to see the kingdom. You have to see the everlasting life, the glory, the dominion. You ruling this earth. You not being in this fleshly body. You have to have a vision. You have to have an end goal. What are you doing? If you don't have goals, what are you doing, man? The Lord said, let thy eyes look right on. Not all around you, not behind you, not in the world, but look right on. Meaning looking on things that's forward. Looking on the things to come. And actually believing on it. It says, and let thy eyelids look straight before thee. A lot of men, they looking to the side. A lot of women, they looking down. Jake, he looking up. Behind him. The Lord said, look straight forward. You have to stay focused. The moment that you're not focused or the moment that you're getting caught slipping, Jake say in the world, you get caught slipping, right? Yeah, Jake be saying that. He say, "Oh yeah, I just caught him lacking," or "I caught him lacking," "I caught him slipping." The moment that Satan catches you slipping, you gotta remember in the back of your head that could be your last time to serve the Lord. It takes one time for Satan to catch you slipping. One time. It don't always. Now everybody's different. From some brothers, it might take 3 times. But chiefly, all it takes is one time for you to be lacking on a spiritual level, and that could be the end all be all for you. Right? Let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 16. Let's go to the book of Proverbs, the 16th chapter. Right, this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, and verse number 3. It says, "Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established." So the more you commit your works into the Lord, the more the Lord is going to start establishing your thoughts. Jake always trying to, oh man, why am I thinking like this? Man, why did I just get that evil thought? Why did I thinking about folly, foolishness? Why am I never thinking about the precepts? Why am I never in the spirit how I used to be? Well, brother, you're not committing your works into the Lord. The more you commit your works into the Lord, reading, going on fast, praying more, doing the work, and doing the work in various ways. Giving charity, alms, watching the videos. That's committing your works unto the Lord. Keeping the commandments. As a woman, committing your works into the Lord might be sewing, teaching the younger women how to be women, teaching the younger women how to be a princess, an Israelite princess, how to be like the daughter of Sarah in a righteous manner, teaching the children, reverencing your husband, watching the videos, going on fast with the sisters, praying for sisters. Those are all ways to commit your works into the Lord. It says, "And thy thoughts shall be established." Everything is going to fall in line. Literally. Then you're going to start remembering precepts. Okay, it say this in 2 Corinthians. Okay, that say that in Jeremiah. Say the same thing in Sirach. Everything is going to go smoother. But you have to be consistent. All right, let's go to the book of Matthew, the 6th chapter, the classic. Let's go to the classic precept, Matthew chapter 6 and 33. All right, this is Matthew chapter 6 and verse 33. Everybody know this precept, man. But it's really actually, if you really going to take heed and follow what it says. This Matthew chapter 6 and 33. "But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness." That has to be the first thing. Not your woman. Your woman, not your husband. Not your workplace. Not your flesh. The first thing first is seeking the kingdom of God and the Lord's righteousness. Guess what? It says what? "And all these things shall be added unto you." Everything else is going to fall in line. And that's what brothers forget, and women in temptation. Even when you're being tempted, all you got to do is seek the Lord. Easier said than done, but that's what you have to do. Everything else is going to fall straight in line. I'm a witness to that. A personal testimony. Every time I put the Lord first, everything has fallen in line. Now let's go to the book of Romans, 8th chapter, man. Romans chapter 8. It's the book of Romans chapter 8 and verse. Romans chapter 8 and verse number 5. Romans 8 and 5, it says, "For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they after the Spirit, after the spirit, the things of the spirit. And you have to mind the things that's of the spirit, the heavenly things, the fruits of the spirit, the ways of righteousness, meekness, humility, etc. But you have to mind the things of the spirit. You have two options. You can mind the things of the flesh, or you can mind the things of the spirit. Which one would you mind? Which one are you going to pick? Which one are you going to choose? Which one are you going to meditate upon? The choice is yours, man. You have to take action. Right? I'm going to read that again. It says, for they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the spirit do mind the things of the spirit. Now, let's go to Romans chapter 8 and 38. Man, this is a good chapter, man. The latter end of Romans 8. This Romans 8 and 35. I'm going to get to the point. Romans chapter 8 and 38. It says, for I am persuaded that neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come. And angels can represent angels on the left-hand side. Because when you read this, it's talking about, Paul is stating the question, when you read Romans 8 and 35, who shall separate from us from the love of God? Why would Michael the archangel separate you from the love of God? I mean, why? Why would Raphael separate you from the Lord? Why would Yahweh Shai stop you from serving the Lord? So you have to know what it's talking about. You have good angels and you have evil angels. The evil angels, they're trying to separate you from the love of the Lord. Now Paul said, I am persuaded that neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor principalities. And principalities is high spirits in certain regions of the earth. It says, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any creature shall be able to separate us from the love of God, which is in Christ Jesus our Lord. So at the end of the day, when it's said and done, nothing should separate you from loving the Lord. The moment something separates you from loving the Most High, you're finished. You're finished. You just waiting to be swept up under the rug by the Lord. Why? Because you slapping the Most High in his face and you truly saying, I don't love you. Every time you sin, you're showing the Lord that you don't love him. Why? Because love is keeping the commandments. That's 1 John chapter 5 and 3. That's 2 John chapter 1 and verse 6. That's John chapter 14 and verse 15. That's Joshua chapter 22 and verse 5. Every time that you showing the Lord you don't love him is by breaking his commandments. Paul said, ain't nothing gonna stop me from serving the Lord. Ain't nothing gonna stop me from loving the Lord. And you have to have that same mindset as you walk in the truth, man. Nothing gonna separate me or stop me for loving Yahweh Ba'Shem Mashiach Umarak Yahushua. Right? Let me get a couple more. I'm gonna close up. Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 3. This Revelation chapter 3 and verse number 11. It says, behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast. So all through the Bible, the Lord is saying, I come quickly. I come as a thief. I come quickly. Watch. It says, hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. What does it mean by no man take thy crown? On one fold, that's your understanding. That's your knowledge of this truth. That's your ability to serve the Lord. That's the precepts you know. That's the zeal that you have for the Most High. That's the integrity that you have. the moral uprightness. You can't let anybody take that away from you. You can't let the spiritual demon Satan just snatch that away from you. And on another fold, the elect, they have crowns laid up for them. Only way they're going to get that crown is if they endure unto the end. Now, if somebody take your crown, that means the kingdom has been taken from you. You will not enter into the kingdom of God. Because when you read 2nd Ezra chapter 2 and 42 on down, in the second wilderness, the Lord will be setting crowns on the men and women of the Lord that has stood stiffly for the name of Yahweh. So let no man take thy crown. And that's why, like I was bringing out in the video, this thing get deep, man. Knowing that you a target, knowing that Satan desires to have you, it will cause you to be a little bit more fervent in the spirit. So with that, I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High Yahweh. Lord willing, this video was edifying. Continue to read, pray fast, and study, and watch the things that's going on. It's a lot of hell breaking loose. A lot of people are dying on the earth. A lot of people are just being taken out this truth. A lot of people are being judged. And keep in mind that you only get one time to serve the Lord. One time and one time only. But most importantly, beseech the Most High for his mercies. But with that, Yahweh Shem Yahushua Barakatham. Shalom.